Hi everyone, I'm Reena, and this is Resonant Space. So the thought for today is, don't be a secretary to yesterday's inspiration. So I don't know if any of you have had the experience of having to transcribe an interview. So, you do an interview with someone, you record it, and in that interview, it's great, the ideas are flowing, you're talking, the other person is talking, and then the next day you come back to transcribe it and it just feels like complete drudgery. You're like, oh gosh, they were talking too fast, I didn't get that word, I don't know what they're saying, and it just feels like, ugh, And I think sometimes I feel like that as a composer, where one day I'll have all these ideas and they're these amazing creative ideas that are flowing, and then the next day I'm really resisting going back to the drawing board because I know that those ideas are there and I feel like, oh gosh, my job for today is to kind of make sense of those ideas. And so when I find myself resisting, I'll think to myself, maybe there's some creative inspiration that's left over from the day before. Because often when you have a real burst of inspiration, there might be just some more left over. So before I sit down to kind of do that hard process of working things out, which by the way is absolutely necessary. I mean, you have to get your scores to look right. You have to move slurs around. You have to notate things. Those are really important things. But maybe before you get to those things, think about, okay, what is the thing that is really in my mind to write right now? And that could be anything. If I didn't have a deadline, what would I be working on? And maybe that's just like a random piece for solo flute. Maybe that's an idea of, one of my friends is feeling a certain way and I just feel really drawn to writing a little melody for them. Maybe it's just a random snippet of something that you just table for 10 years and then maybe later on is the beginning of, one of your orchestra pieces or something. It really could be anything, or it could just fall by the wayside. But the idea is that you get that burst of inspiration out of your system before you then return and try to get down to that nitty-gritty clerical work that can sometimes just be drudgery, but at least you don't have this idea kind of brewing in you on the other side. So if you feel like you're a little bit resistant after having a big day of work, and a big day of ideas, just ask yourself, if I had nothing to do today, if I had a completely blank slate, what would I do with this day? What would I create? And try to just get those ideas just in the world before you go back and try to be the secretary to yesterday's inspiration.